Hello, Mark Yonley, founder and artistic director of Chicago Tap Theater, back with another action-packed episode of the Tea on Tap.
Lace your shoes, ball change the landmark, yacht, least guide the tea on tap. CT Square is where it's at, my love. Nobody near us to see us or hear us, no friends or relations or weekend vacations. We won't have it known, dear, that we own a telephone, my dear.
Today I'm super excited to welcome Chicago native and now LA resident, the incomparable Lee Howard. Man, I have to tell everybody out there, I've been lucky enough to have watched this dancer grow and develop here in Chicago, and the fact that he is now in LA killing it is no surprise whatsoever, because he is truly an incomparable artist. Meanwhile, nice to see everybody here. Hey, Evan. Good to see you, Evan. It's been a while. I'm actually going to be heading through Wisconsin tomorrow on my way to La Crosse, teaching at the great Misty's Dance Unlimited, way out west in Wisconsin. Hey, Anthony, good to see you, man. I enjoyed chatting with you earlier in the week. Thanks for joining us. I always appreciate seeing your name there. I'm going to guess that's Lucy. I'm guessing that's Lucy. Aw, thanks, Evan. Man, I wish I had time to stop through and have a drink in beautiful Lake Geneva one of these days. We were planning a little trip there. I was going to be there to judge. Oh, hey, Alan. That's the fun thing about Instagram names, right? You never know who it might actually be. Hey, Chemist. So yeah, Evan, originally we were going to be in Lake Geneva for Nationals for one of the companies that I teach and judge for, but sadly, of course, that got canceled. So hopefully I'll get to see you soon. Yeah, one of these days, indeed. Indeed. So we're just waiting for our guest. I know he's just about to pop on. Again, he's one of those artists, if you have not witnessed Lee tap dancing, man, do I recommend it. Chicago trained, came up out of the Mad Rhythms group, and is just a stellar artist. And he should be joining us any minute. Meanwhile, nice to see you, Mom. Thanks for joining us. I always appreciate how supportive you are. Thanks for being here. Oh, thank you. That is incredibly kind of you, Alan. Man, I appreciate that. That's very kind of you. I am incredibly lucky. I'm 46 years old. I do what I love for a living. I'm surrounded by people who help make it possible. I've got amazing people surrounding me. I've got a wife that I love dearly. I have a family that's supportive. I know a lot of dancers, especially male dancers, you don't always necessarily have that. And I've been very lucky from the day I was born. I had nothing but support around me. So thank you for that kind comment. That really is very nice of you. And I'll go ahead and just say this now. I apologize. We will not be having a Tea on Tap this coming Sunday or Thursday, as I will be teaching all day long in La Crosse, Wisconsin. Saturday and Sunday I'll be teaching a Chicago Tap Theater Tap Intensive. And then Monday through Saturday I'll be working at their dance camp. So sadly, we will not be having Tea on Tap just for Sunday and Thursday. Then we will be returning next Sunday. I'm excited. I've got to tell you all out there, I have had a list of people that I have been lining up to be guests for quite a while now. And there are some people who I purposely have waited to have on as a guest because I wanted to space out the people that I have, right? And I don't know if it's very obvious out there, but I actually put a lot of attention into trying to make sure that I'm representing a diversity in tap dance, and everything from gender to age. Hey there. And of course, I definitely want to make sure that we are properly representing this Black art form by featuring many amazing Black artists as guests. I'm just going to give Lee Howard another minute here. I'm sure he might be having a little technical. It always seems. Oh, yeah, don't believe me. Talk about. So I will tell you, I have a sub list of my list. I see Lee. I have a sub list, and on that sub list, I have what I call my big gets, and those are people that either due to their accomplishments or kind of how I personally view them, they're the people that I'm dying to have on, and Dormisha is on that list, along with Savion and Dule Hill and just a few others who, like, even among the amazing pantheon of people I've had on here, there's a few people that I've been dying to have on, and Dormisha is one of those people. So I see Leah is on here. I see Leah on here. Hey, Leah. Going live with Lee in 3, 2, 1. Hey!
How's it going, Mark? Jeez, long time no see.
I know, it's been way too long. How you doing?
You know, as good as you can be doing in these times, considering we're going through a pandemic. But you know, other than that, just keeping things moving as much as I can.
Right on. How is it out there in LA right now? Is it beautiful?
You know, the weather, I mean, actually it's kind of overcast right now, but on the average, it's LA, classic LA summertime.
Love it.
Can't complain.
Love it.
It makes the quarantine or the pandemic not as painful, but you know, it's still pretty beautiful outside.
Yeah. You know, it's interesting. I remember kind of the word on LA 10 to 15 years ago was that it wasn't necessarily a city for tap dance. And boy, do I feel like that has changed. I feel like there's such a there's a lot of amazing tap dancers who call LA home now. And I know that you are definitely a major part of that trend. So I'm glad that you are out there representing Chicago.
Yeah, no, there's definitely a presence out here. I think the difference between, like, you know, obviously somewhere like LA and New York is that LA is a little more spread out. So then it's a little harder to, you know, touch base with certain people sometimes because, I mean, especially before the pandemic, people were traveling more and you know, had more gigs going out of town. So it was a little harder to link up with people because, you know, LA is so big. But I mean, the tap presence is definitely going strong out here. You know, we got some heavy hitters and, you know, I'm just glad to be here and, you know, make a little dent in that. So,
yeah. Well, we have a lot to talk about, but I want to start as I always do. Do you mind, so you're in LA, tell everybody where you are if you don't mind giving us a little look around your pad really quick, and then show us your mug.
Oh yeah, so, I mean, my pad is, I just kind of upgraded it a little bit, you know, this is my little setup, but yeah, it's just a 1-bedroom in Hollywood. You know, I got a nice little balcony for fresh air.
Nice.
Pretty chill. But yeah, just standard Hollywood 1-bedroom. I'm not gonna show you my kitchen because I got dishes and they're a little messy right now. But,
I can relate.
yeah, so that's about it. Like cool hangs here. Pretty peaceful. It's my little slice of paradise. And I don't have any fancy mugs. I just got this little guy.
I like it.
It's actually more like a mule mug, like for a Moscow mule. Unfortunately,
please tell me you're having a Moscow mule at 10 a.m. Please tell me
no,
that.
I wish I was still living that life. You know, I do bartend, and you know, definitely before the pandemic when things were normal, I was, you know, I might wake up and have a little, I don't know, little sip of something. Never at 10 a.m. though. Never at 10 a.m. Probably like noon on. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
But no, never at 10.
So I'm using my pug mug again.
Nice.
And I want to give a shout out. I am drinking Kyoto Black, which is a newish coffee shop here in the Edgewater neighborhood of Chicago. It is an amazing black-owned coffee shop. So I'm trying to give them a shout. All you Northsiders, go check it out. If you love coffee, they make a premium product. They use the Kyoto method, where you
Okay.
literally extract it like drop by drop,
How long does that
um,
take?
forever. And you taste all the time it takes. You taste the quality.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, that makes sense.
Justin is the
It's worth
owner.
the
If you
wait.
go there, right? Yeah, all good things are worth the wait.
Yeah, exactly.
So I always start these out with the same question. Tell us about your first experience of tap dance. What is your first memory of tap dance?
Um, well, I'd say when I first started tap dance, obviously I wasn't always a tap dancer. I did a lot of things when I was young before I came to discover tap dance, sports, martial arts, you name it. Um, but what I mean, initially, I guess my first memory would be what initially got me into the art form, which was my sister was actually a part of a school called Sammy Dyer School of Theater in Chicago, very prestigious studio led by Shirley Hall Bass, and actually Ted Levy came out of there too. Um,
Man.
but I basically I would go to my sister's recitals before I started dancing, and I just remember at the recital specifically seeing I know it was Brill Barrett, who is a founder of Mad Rhythms in Chicago, and I forget who the two other gentlemen were. It might have been Jemani, maybe. But I just remembered Brill and like a couple other cats in like dressed to the nine in suits, looking super fly, dancing downstairs, doing the whole nine. And it really just struck my interest. So I had my mom enroll me in some classes, and I used to do, tap and acrobatics. And yeah, that was like basically my first like my initial introduction to tap, and
Nice.
it sparked a fire because I mean, obviously here I am.
Yeah. That's a
Yeah, yeah,
pretty hip introduction to tap dance, I have to say.
yeah. I mean, and it was like proper. It was like
Yeah.
they were shuffling, they were hoofing. So
Mm-mm. And it's worth noting, just a day late happy birthday to Brill. If any of
oh
you
yeah,
out there on
shout out to
social
Brill.
media have not, yeah, if any of you haven't donated yet, he's doing a fundraiser for Mad Rhythms right now. So want to recommend that people check that
Yeah,
out and drop some coins.
for
So
sure, for
growing
sure.
up then, who were your primary teachers? And if you know, who were their teachers?
So yeah, like I mentioned, Brill was probably the main teacher for me. Brill and Martin Trey Dumas III, actually when I joined Mad Rhythms. But before that, I learned from Idella Reed, who is also out of Sammy Dyer and was in Rhythm Is and the likes. But yeah, it was like Idella Reed. I want to say, geez, I can't remember her name right now. There was like one other teacher I had. It's not coming to me right now, but like mainly Idella and yeah, and Brill. And then when I joined Mad Rhythms, it was literally Brill and Trey. And obviously, I was learning from all the other members of Mad Rhythms while I was in there. We were bouncing ideas and steps off each other, left and right. Um, it was just a very um, nurturing environment to be a tap dancer, and honestly, that's like where I was able to like sharpen my improvisation skills to the point where like I was just it's second nature now. Like it was all because I was shuffling in there with all those cats and they were throwing things out and I had to try to throw things back. And so yeah, no, that was like my main core. And then obviously, as time progressed and tap festivals became a thing, I started learning from more people, and eventually, I even for a while did a company with Jason Samuel Smith, uh, and so I definitely think that helped me progress as a tap dancer too. Um, Doing that, and anybody can get it. Shout out to J Sam. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, and once I started branching out on my own, I just kept taking notes. But like honestly, the tap festivals was like the main thing because like even while we were under the umbrella of Bad Rhythms, we go to these tap festivals and we would learn from masters, we learn from people everywhere, and it was just, I think, while I can say Brill and Trey were what really harnessed and honed my love and desire for tap dance. It was a village effort.
Mm.
You know what I mean? And I think that's one thing that makes tap dancing such a special art form is that it really is. It feels like a community trying to, or at least, when I was coming up as a youngster in the
Yeah.
dance, it really felt like, "What's up, Io?" Yeah, Io's the truth too. She's doing a lot of really dope things, and I've always thought Io was sick. Love dancing with her. But yeah, I always thought like when I was coming up that, all these cats that we were learning from, they really were like sharing vital, pieces of information and history and dropping gems like nobody's business about the dance and everything. So I thought that was I honestly think that's what really rounded me out as a dancer as well.
Mm. It's interesting you mentioned the festivals, and I've had this conversation with a lot of people that I think tap dance is unique in that, all these festivals, they even have often beginning and intermediate levels. I don't know what other art form exists where you can go as a beginning or intermediate level practitioner and literally spend a week studying with the greatest living practitioners of that art form, right? You can
Absolutely.
go and study with
Hmm.
Io and with J Sam, and back in the day with Jimmy when he would agree to teach, which wasn't often, but man, if you were one of those lucky few to be in that class, that was something.
Oh yeah,
Buster
for
and
sure. Yeah,
but what a special thing that you do that.
and like during these festivals, they would like stick around even after classes and like
Mhm.
shuffle or show you a couple tricks here and a couple tricks there. So I mean, yeah, like they're just like it was just a nurturing environment to be in because all these masters and leaders of the dance were just there and just open and ready just whenever to just tell you a story or put
Yeah,
you on game. Just yeah, like Jay Sam said, show you footage. Like they just
yeah.
like were just all about just instructing us and like giving us that foundation in our history and everything. So yeah, it was definitely a village effort. Especially I felt that when like myself and my peers were coming up in the dance from a
Mhm.
young age. So for sure.
Is there anything that a mentor or a teacher had said to you that still sticks with you and that you find returning to or maybe saying to your students?
Man, that's a good question. Honestly, yeah, I mean, what I've been saying, like, there's no like specific quotes that like resonate with me right now, but it's always been like, well, no, that's a lie. I mean, Brill says it all the time, respect the dance. Like, honestly,
Mhm.
that's the main one. And that was kind of like, that was a slogan that would be on the Mad Rhythms t-shirts, on the banners and everything was always about respecting the dance. So, I mean, as long as you respect the dance, and I mean, like, after classes, I'm pretty sure they still do it sometimes. I mean, I haven't seen a Mad Rhythms class in forever, but like, when classes would adjourn, they'd put their hands in the center and be like, one, two, three, respect the dance. And yeah, as long as you respect the dance will, treat you right and return any kind of respect or love, peace of mind that you need. So yeah, respect the dance.
Love it. Um, Tell me this. I'm always interested in how different tap dancers view this idea of technique. Just because I
Hmm.
think technique is something that's a word that dancers throw around quite a bit. And I feel like, in ballet and modern, they have very specific techniques. Yeah, Jay Sam, by the way, every time I hear Respect the Dance, I always think of Mad Rhythms, and then I always think Robert Reed.
Robert Reed
Um,
too. Yes, yes, yes.
yeah,
Can't forget about Robert Reed. Absolutely.
yeah, he was an important figure in my life when I was growing up. Because St. Louis is really close to Kansas City, so that was
Yeah.
that was my hometown festival.
That was the first festival I went to. Like that was my
Oh,
introduction.
nice!
Yeah,
I love
really. Like met Leonard Reed and Prince Spencer and all those cats. Like,
it.
yeah.
Robert's faculties were amazing. He always did such a great job of really representing the elders and the masters.
Oh,
I
absolutely.
owe a ton to
Hmm.
Robert.
Yeah.
He's
No.
somebody I really need to make sure to thank.
for
Um,
sure.
one of those
Yeah.
people before I
Rest in
go on
peace to
stage,
Robert.
I kind of remember. Yeah, without a
Hmm.
doubt, without a doubt. Um, so, what does technique mean to you within the context of tap dance? Because I think tap dance is something that we get to define, or technique is something we define a little more openly in the tap world. And I'm always interested in
Hmm.
how different people look at it. So, what does technique mean to you in the context of tap?
Um, well, I I guess it really does embody the sense of the word technique, like your technical skill. But I think it can encompass a lot of things. I do think that, technique, just like, I mean, technique to me is like synonymous with, I guess in regards to tap dance, it's synonymous with theory. So like, the same way
Mm,
you study music theory or whatever is the same way you would, decipher a tap technique. I think it goes hand in hand. So it's not just about, learning, for tap techniques, it's not just about learning the steps, it's about learning how to apply them, and when you apply them, how are you applying them? And obviously we're musicians, so we apply them in a musical structure and frame. So I believe that, when you're learning technique, it's not just about breaking down the components of the shuffle, but it's, breaking down like the sonic tonalities of the tap
mhm.
shoe, learning your actual instrument. I mean, you'll see, trumpet players, they learn not only how to, use their mouthpiece and, you know, um, obviously the buttons on the trumpet, but, you have to learn how to clean your instrument and everything. So it's like, that all goes hand in hand with like learning the techniques. It's like how you take care of your instrument, it's how you prepare your instrument, it's how you use your instrument. And so
Mm,
that to me is technique. Style to me is something else. But
mhm.
technique is like learning your foundations, your ABCs, and then learning how to build sentences, and then from the sentences, learning how to tell stories. So, and to me, that's
Mm.
like, at least that's my perspective of what technique is.
I love it. I think that's a great way of looking at it.
Yeah.
So, I have to admit, I am going to admit my ignorance right now. Fasho. First off, how do you
Fashion.
pronounce
Oh,
it?
for show. I know people like, have complications with it. I don't know why it's so complicated, but I guess certain people, when they hear for show, they think of it spelled with an O instead of an A, maybe. I guess it's so like FOSHO instead of FASHO. But
Yeah.
it wasn't always like an acronym for something. It was I honestly got it
Mm.
from, well, everybody used to call me. Actually, it was Nora that started this. Nora Clark from Vermont. She was in Mad Rhythms for a while too. Um, she used to call me just Lee How. She used to just abbreviate my name all the time.
Yeah.
So I started kind of like just rolling with that.
We're having just a slight technical difficulty. We'll just hold on one sec.
Sorry,
I'm
I
so
cut off there.
sorry. Yeah, go back just a little bit. I apologize.
I bet. No, that was my fault. Honestly, you know what it is? I have a I try to limit the amount of activity I have on social media, even though it's kind of hard these days. So I have like one of those time limits that you set on your phone for your apps. And, after a while, it'll just close you out of the app, and then you gotta ask for permission to get back in it. It's kind of my way of
I
trying
love
to
it.
like control that social media problem.
Hmm.
But yeah. But like I was saying, so I got the for show from. Have you ever seen the movie Superbad? It's funny that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
of
yeah,
course.
yeah.
Yeah.
So when it's funny, this is literally where I got it from. When he was talking about when he was trying to buy drinks with a like fake ID for the party for the girls, and he was like, "I'm gonna get that for show." So I was just like, that kind of stuck with me. So that's literally where I got for show from. But then, like, as things started progressing, I was like, I need to do something. I need to make this mean more than just that. So I kept jotting down words and things and trying to come up with stuff. And eventually, like, focus and stay humble overall was kind of what stuck, because to me, that seems like more so like a good mantra to go by if you want to, like,
Mhm.
live a life of like success and just groundedness at the same time. So, and I think you do need to focus and stay humble. Both of those things are important if you want to like achieve a certain level of success in your life,
Yeah.
and respect from, you know, people, and love. Like, I don't believe you need a reputation of being a jerk or being, you know, a hard ass to, like, you know, be respected. Like, you can be humble and be loving and be talented
Yeah.
and be successful. Like, I think those things
Yes.
go hand in hand, you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's interesting. I think here in Chicago in the past 4 months, we've seen the difference between being feared and respected versus being loved and respected.
Right.
And I think we've seen
Hmm.
that play out in our tap community and how the community is willing to rally around you or not
Hmm.
based on how you choose to be a leader and how you choose to interact with others.
Yeah,
So I like that a
absolutely.
lot. I think that that resonates strongly for me. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, for sure.
Um,
Yeah,
so you've been making a name for yourself as a singer
a little
and
bit.
as a multi-form dancer. No, go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, no, I was just saying, I was saying a little bit. I'm dabbling,
I think so.
working at it.
So, and you produce.
Hmm.
So I'm curious, how do you find tap dancing influencing your production work, your singing, your artistry in the non-tap world, and then vice versa? How do you find maybe those skills and talents that you're developing influencing your tap dance?
Well, honestly, I think the 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 reason I have been able to, you know, even navigate it to music in production to the place I'm at now, where I'm, you know, pumping things out or creating things, I think I can
Mhm.
attribute that to like my musical ear, which was developed from tap. Like, the understanding of, you know, rhythm really does resonate in other ways when you apply it to other things. And I did try many instruments when I was a kid, so I'm not totally detached from the music element. But they, like I said again, like tap dance and music, they go hand in hand. We are making musics, and I think um, being able to express that in that vein, while I was in Mad Rhythms, while also diversifying my musical palette. Because that was another thing. Not only was it my parents that were just constantly playing diverse music throughout my childhood, but like we were dancing to pretty much everything, every genre, while in the company. So like when we would cipher up, we would be listening to everything from like soul to jazz to R&B, hip hop to, you know, I think the only thing I haven't danced to is country, but like honestly, but I can definitely say that being a tap dancer has like tuned my ear and like allowed me to be able to hear and see things even without having like, you know, a classical musical theory training, even though like that's what I'm kind of doing for myself now. I'm teaching myself. I've always had a foundation, but you know, I can't like sight read or anything like that at this point. But I understand, you know, structure and all that, and notation to a certain extent. And I think just having that foundation as a tap dancer and such a diverse and versatile sense of rhythm. And
Yeah.
I mean, I couldn't tell you like maybe the first 5 years being a tap dancer, like how to dance to like take five or something like that. Like I wouldn't know how to count it. You know what I mean? And you know, just being in the presence of other people who, you know, break those kind of things down and really, you know, show you how things work and how things flow and how things are structured really helps me to like tap into that when I do sit down at the computer and be like, okay, so I want to like I got this idea in my head. How do I put it down? So, and yeah, I honestly I think, and it works both ways too. Like, yeah, like tap influences like my music influences my tap because like not only am I when I'm dancing improvising, am I I'm not thinking of steps.
Yeah.
I don't think of steps anymore. The steps are there. Like I have a vocabulary that I've developed over years and years of training. So I'm at this point, like I'm not even thinking about steps. I'm just thinking about, you know, tones and colors, whatever, sounds, waves, just everything. I'm just thinking of music and I can attribute that to like just my constant back and forth of dabbling in this, dabbling in that, and hearing this, hearing that, like you can take a perspective on like if you're dancing to some jazz or something and say it's your turn, like you can either see yourself as a percussionist in that, or you can see yourself as another part of the band, and you can play something and you can influence your sound and your choices based on that initial intention or how you see things. And I
Yeah.
think that it helps when you do have an understanding of music to a certain extent, because then you have a much more versatile approach when you dance, and like the notes that you choose to play and the spaces that you choose to leave, you know? So yeah, it's
Beautiful.
definitely hand in hand.
Yeah. Man, I really like how you describe that. So you recently released a video, and I was delighted to see that it was choreographed by CJ Salvador. And
Yeah,
I was
CJ.
delighted for so many reasons. Partially, you're both Chicago guys originally.
Yes,
I'm
sir.
wondering, did you know him before that? Did you know him before you moved to LA?
Yeah.
And then did you
hmm
tap dance at all on set? Please tell me you tap danced a little bit.
I mean, the day of, it was pretty crazy, so I can't say I was doing any tap dance like we were shuffling on set, because he actually wasn't even on set.
Mhm.
He just choreographed it, and like, we rehearsed it in the studio that I booked. Um, like twice. So like we had like two rehearsals for it. He actually that the video Jupiter that you're talking about was actually his second time doing that for me, because like I had another video called Distraction where he choreographed as well. So I tapped him again for Jupiter, and I mean that the kid can move, man. And like I said, his musicality is crazy, and like I know a lot of that could definitely come from the tap dance side too. Like he understands rhythm, and like he understands uh flow and like accents and how to punch things and how to make things,
Yeah.
pop. So and yeah, he's just super talented. And yeah, I knew him I definitely knew him before I moved out here, and like, seen him plenty of times around the way in Chicago at different things. Like I probably dance Chicago for sure. Things like that. I mean, yeah, we just go way back. And like when I found out he was out here, I was just like, yo, let's link up. Let's grab a beer or something. Let's just
Yeah.
chat and go over some ideas. And yeah, I mean, he's killing it on the dance scene. I mean, he's got a huge following, and I mean, he's toured with a bunch of artists, and I mean, he was supposed to be on tour with Bieber right now, but you know, the
Yeah.
times we live in. But he's still
Indeed.
like, I mean, if concerts go back to, if the pandemic, if we can get control over it and things start to subside or normalize to a certain extent, then I'm sure he'll be back out on the road. So it's like,
Yeah, I'm sure.
it's only a matter of time. But yeah, he's a,
Yeah.
he's a talented dude, man. Shout out to CJ.
Yeah. So, I was his tap teacher growing up. So I taught him for 10 years, 8 years, 10 years,
Yeah, yeah.
until he graduated. And he was that kid in class that you would just kind of look at and you'd say, okay, like I remember the first time I ever showed him a wing, and he just instantly went, oh, okay, a wing. And I was like, oh, okay. And I was like, well, some people can do like a 4 count wing. And he was like, well, what does that look like? And I was like, oh, it's like that. And he was like, oh, like this?
Just
Yeah,
nothing.
like
It's
that,
super
CJ.
quick. Yeah, yeah. That makes
Yeah.
sense.
I always say, yeah.
He's
Students like
quick.
that, Right? And students like that, it's almost like having, I mean, it's delightful because you just start coming up with crazy things to be like, all right, well, can you do that and add this to it? And they're like, oh, okay, let me try that. And they do it.
Just
And it
become your
just
little
keeps,
guinea pig, and you're just like, what can I throw at him now? Hee hee hee.
exactly, it fires your
Yeah.
imagination. So it's been exciting to see how successful he has become. Oh, Io, that's sweet what she just said.
Yeah. I was in the building. Shout outs to
Yes,
Aya.
yes.
Yeah, yeah.
So, um, this is the question that I've been asking of every guest, and I think it's critically important. And especially, I've been doing this show. I think you're my 30th guest, if you believe it.
Nice.
Um,
So you've been so you've
yeah,
been so you've been hacking away at this. All right.
I've been busy and I've
That's
been
what's up.
lucky. I tell you, anytime people tell me that they appreciate this or that they like it or whatever, I keep saying if I didn't have buy-in from people, if I didn't have people like you saying, yeah, I'll happily be a guest, I couldn't do any of it, right? I've been
For
lucky
sure.
enough to have Iadeli, I've had Jay Sam, I've had Derek, I've had Michelle Dorrance. I've had a lot of people. If if everybody had said, no, I'm not interested, there'd be no such thing as this program. So I really want to thank you for doing this.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
we find ourselves in a very unique and special time. Given this movement for racial justice in the wake of the murder of George Floyd, I keep finding myself asking myself, what is it that tap dancers specifically, how can we bring our talents, our skill sets, our knowledge, how can we contribute to this movement in a way that is uh, responsible and actionable and has an impact? Um, So I'm curious. I've been asking all my guests. I'm kind of curious to hear what you think about that. And
Hmm.
then I do have a follow-up that I'll ask after that.
For sure. Um, I think the main thing for sure is that everybody just stay vigilant in like whatever way you feel in whatever way you feel you can contribute in some way. Obviously, our vote counts, so that's very important. Um, but like other than that, like I feel like, especially when tensions really boiled over and there was, I mean, there's still protests happening, around the country, but like when it really hit the brim of the pot, I think everybody was just like, okay, let's go, let's hit the streets,
Yeah.
let's get out there. And I think it really did light a fire for the movement of social justice and racial equality and civil rights. You know what I mean? Um, and I just think that everybody just needs to stay vigilant in whatever way they feel like they want to contribute, and that can just be through expressing your grievances, your pain through your art, um, continuing to push the narrative that we do stand for these principles that we're
Mm.
fighting for, that are supposed to be the foundation of our country as a whole and what the country stands for. So, like, people that are sharing through their art, whether they're, coming up with pieces that have like messages with them, or like just any way you feel like sharing, just keep pushing the message that, keep saying their names. Like, don't feel
Mm.
like you can't do something, because we're all way more powerful, like united, than we are in our own heads, second guessing our decisions, or like kind of reneging our support because we feel a type of way. Like, it should always just be like, we're all in this together, let's do things that unify us, let's create things that unify us instead of tear us apart. And
Mm.
people are doing that. I mean, obviously, dancers are doing that in numbers of ways, in which they're like either, making pieces, or maybe they're donating. Because, like, I mean, it's a big thing. I mean, it's so many things that are just under attack right now. It's people's health. It's people's um, safety. It's literally everything. It's people's basic rights. It's people's freedom of speech. It's like
Mm.
basic. basic
Yeah.
rights and needs. And I just think that I think people just need to continue to like, and just don't forget. I mean, like, I see this post on social media and it says like, um, Black Lives Matter, even if your feed goes back to normal, you know? So it's like,
Mm.
even if you're back to like posting selfies or whatever you do on Instagram or yada yada, whatever that is, don't forget, you know, what's happening right now and
Yeah.
make sure to still be present and, you know, be engaged in what's happening. And, uh, and like I said, like I released a video, like a short music video, which was just another, you know, seed, just another sprinkle of something added to the movement, just another thing, just voice my frustrations and my concerns. And I think as long as people just keep telling each other, like, hey guys, we're in this, we know what's going on, we're aware, and we're ready, we're prepared to do things about it, however small or however big that may feel to some people, it's all equally important. So
Mm.
I think whatever ways you can share, and like obviously, you know, artists like ourselves have, you know, an outlet in which we can, you know, get things out, whether it's, you know, choreographing things or uh, holding these Zoom classes. You know, I mean, the thing is, we also need to just instill an idea of hope, especially to
Yeah.
these young kids, because our young people are really under attack right now and are really being put in the line of fire, literally. So we need to be able to give the youth some kind of sense of hope and peace and normalcy in all this chaos, because I mean, I honestly can't even imagine being a kid right now, what this must feel like. Because like I've never seen anything like this in my lifetime, and definitely didn't experience anything like this. I mean, like you could say 9/11 was, but like this is some other next level stuff happening right now. And yeah, I never seen anything like this when I was a kid, so I can't even imagine how these kids are, you know, coping and dealing with this, and the parents too. But like I think it's important that we try to, you know, keep hope alive, especially for these kids. And I think in doing that, part of the way we can do that is to like give them things. And
Mm.
like, you know, that's why, you know, I haven't really taught too many Zoom classes or anything. It's because I mean it's just it seems like a lot. It can be a little intimidating with like just latency issues and like all the technological things that can happen that can kind of throw off a class flow
Yeah.
and things like that. But I mean it's necessary for the times that we're in, and it does give these kids some kind of groundedness, some kind of centeredness in all this craziness. So I think, yeah, just whatever people feel like they can do, just don't forget what we got to do at this point, and however you feel you want to portray that message, whether it's through your art, whether it's through a post or a repost, do it, because it really does matter. It really does make a difference, and it keeps the conversation going. And that's what's most important, is that we just keep the conversation going, that it doesn't get swept under the rug, and that we check our sources, and that we make sure that we're getting the proper information um, from allied sources, and not some crazy fake news or things, because just the media is
Mhm.
so strange right now. So I just
Yeah.
think whatever people can do, but like I think it's very inspirational that, you know, artists are coming up with these creative ways to, you know, honor the people that we've lost, and but also, you know, um, send on a message of like unity and hope for us, because we need it now more than ever.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Lee, think that was really beautifully put. I want to thank you for that. It's tough
absolutely,
stuff to
man.
talk about,
It is.
right?
It's
Um,
strange and scary, and
yeah.
but we're all living through it, and it's happening
Yeah. Yeah.
for a reason.
And we have an opportunity to be a part of an amazing movement that will fundamentally change this country.
Yeah, exactly.
And to me, the only way to honor the tragedy of everything that has come before is to make sure that the result of it is something so blindingly beautiful and new and transformed and uh, equitable
Yeah.
that we can look back and say, we helped push this forward. We were doing everything we could. So
Yeah,
yeah, thank you, Lee. I really love all the things you had to say. So
absolutely.
Lee, it is time for people's favorite part. It is time for the 2-minute tap class. You have 2 minutes to teach anyone step, concept, or idea. I will be timing you. Are
Oh
you
God.
ready?
Hold on, let me just like get my setup. Make sure it's nice and
Take your time. Yeah, no worries. And for the record, I don't actually time you. I tell everybody I'm timing them. I don't care, honestly. As long as you want to talk and share a concept or idea, please go right ahead.
okay.
It is our honor to have you do this. So.
Cool.
And we're just a second of technical difficulty. uh, the fun thing is, what image is going to greet us when it is working again? Who knows? Is it going to be a close-up of feet on the floor with? It could be so many different things. Oh no! Oh, technology. All right, we're just going to hang out for a hot second. I'm sure Lee will be back in just a bit. You gotta love interviews in the 21st century, right? This is just one of the things that can happen. Um, and here is Lee. He is back. And 3, 2, 1.
Sorry. Yeah, see, like my technology is not on fleek today. It is not
No
on
worries,
fleek.
it worked.
Good old internet. Okay, cool. All right. So let's just take this because I think for young people especially, because I just did I did a Zoom a couple days ago with the young man, and he was really just having trouble with counting. Just really having trouble with counting. Can you hear this, by the way?
We're good.
Cool. Okay, so I just want to really just exercise the point of just getting used to counting while you dance, and it can literally be anything. Literally be anything. You can just do toe heels, and the one can come from anywhere, right? It can be one, right? One, one. That's all you need. As long as you know where the one is, that's good. Now, counting while you dance can be a little difficult because you feel like you're doing like two things at once. But sometimes it's just easier to start out with something simple like toe heels. We're just going 1, 2, 3, 4. Just know where the steps fall into the beat. 1, 2, 3, 4. And when you get comfortable with that, you can just up it up a little bit. If you want to double time it, but just know that timing is important no matter what the speed is, because that establishes the tempo for you. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, the thing that I like to just really accentuate in this whole simple breakdown is that rhythm really does come from your understanding of timing and how you can play with the amount of time you have to express that rhythm. So just like I was doing that slow, then fast, slow, then fast, slow, then fast, slow, and fast. Nothing sped up as far as the pace. The pace was still the same. We were still trucking along at the same speed, but we were still diversifying the rhythm. It was really coming from what we thought we could play with. And you can speed things up, you can slow things down. So if I want to go 1, 2, 3, 4, I can go 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. You can go off time if you have understanding of that timing. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's where I think music theory really comes into play, when you understand breakdowns of notes and spaces. Because to me, when you're playing something in, let's say, 4/4 time, and you're establishing a certain amount of time to really just express and lay these notes out onto that measure, you have subdivisions, quarter notes, eighth notes, 16th notes, whatever notes you want to put. You also have spaces there. These all take up the whole thing. It's not just bunching a bunch of notes and then you take a breath and then a bunch of notes. Like, that breath is in a sense a note. It's the absence of a note. So you really want to just keep that in mind when you're structuring your rhythms. And another thing is that it doesn't have to be complicated. You don't always have to flex. Sometimes the flex is musical. Well, it's always musical to me, but like, the flex doesn't always have to be some crazy step. But it's just about doing that. It's just about really just accentuating what you're trying to say. You don't want to use big words that you don't know the meanings to, right? You don't want to use them
That's a beautiful analogy.
Yeah, you don't want to use them out of context either. You want to make sure that they make sense within the frame of the sentence or the point that you're trying to make. So say I'm trying to, like, okay, we'll just do another thing, just one more thing, just the paddle and roll, right? All right, so just the paddle. Real simple. And you can even diversify your paddle. But it has to be a clear statement. All the same step. Right?
Yeah.
And
beautiful.
One last thing. When you're doing these things, it's not just about hitting the step correctly. It's not just about just making sure that all the steps are accounted for. It's also about thinking about the tone of the step, right? For example, with the paddle and roll, you have different tonalities in the heel than you do with the toe, than you do with the brush, right? So you want to make sure that you are acknowledging that each one of those subdivisions of the paddle and roll has its own tonality to it and its own inflection, its own accent points, and that you can take advantage of those and use those and switch them up. You don't always have to just do a bunch of things. You can really break a component of a step down and turn it into something else. So I think timing and really understanding your tool is what I will leave with that little lesson. That was more than 2 minutes.
Yeah, man.
I'm sure.
Beautiful. I love it. No, please. I love it when it goes long. All right. Rapid riffs. Here we go. This has to be fast. We have 4 minutes to get through this.
Okay.
1, what tap shoes do you wear?
Capizio.
2, taps. Tight? I assumed. 2, taps. Tight or just a little bit loose?
I wear mine tight. I don't like the shoe slipping off my heel.
Yep. 3, Favorite song to tap dance to?
Oh my God. Acapella.
Yes. Oh, I love it. You're the first person to answer that. 4, favorite composer?
Uh, I can't think of one right now. I'm going to say producer Pharrell.
Nice. 5, you're in 4-4 time. Do you count in 4s or 8s?
I count in 4s.
Very good. 6, favorite tap dancer to watch who is no longer with us?
Jimmy Slide, for sure.
7, favorite living tap dancer to watch?
That's tough.
Yeah, it is.
Dormish. Oh, well, Dormisha's one. I'd say Diane Walker is like one of my favorites to watch, though.
Yes. 8, favorite choreographed tap piece you've ever seen or done?
Oh my God. Opus 1, Harold Cromer.
9, what single tap performance that you've seen in person do you remember the most vividly?
Probably Jimmy Slide.
Ain't that the truth?
Yeah.
10, you can go back in time and see anyone tap performer or tap performance. What do you see?
It's a split between like Gregory Hines and I'd have to say Baby Lawrence.
11, what tap dance would you most like to see added to the tap canon?
The tap canon?
Yeah, so like those dances that everyone knows, like Opus 1 and Shim Sham and BS Chorus and Laura. What dance do you think should be added to that?
That isn't already like something that's new?
Not necessarily. Just
Okay.
any, what dance or what artist, like a dance of an artist, do you think should be represented in the pantheon of dances that tap dancers are expected at some level to know?
Oh, well, for sure, like, the Shim Shams, you should always know the Shim Sham, for sure. That's definitely a basic national anthem tap.
What dance should be added, though, to that list?
Oh, right. Should be added. It's a good question. I don't know.
Hard one, right? I know, it's a really hard one.
Maybe, no, because like the Cold Stroll, that's already a thing. What should be added? I don't know. I have to come back to that one.
That's all right. Final question. Second step of the Shim Sham. What count do you start it on? I know what count you started on because I know who your teachers were.
I started on the 1, but some people started on the and before that. So, I've done both, but
Very good.
We started on the 1.
Awesome. So really quick, I want to thank Leah, our marketing director and tech guru. I want to thank our staff. Molly, Ali, Sarah, our amazing interns, Ali and Emily. I want to thank my beautiful wife, Jennifer. I will remind people we have company class every Wednesday. You're welcome to join us on Zoom. A reminder that Sunday, Heather Cornell has her series, Heather Cornell, The Masters Manhattan Tap and Making Music Dance. This Sunday, she'll be featuring Max Pollock, talking about his time in Manhattan Tap. You can get more information at manhattantap.org/Heather Cornell Tap Dance. Final question, and you got to make it quick. We're almost out of time.
Okay.
When you shuffle off this mortal coil, how do you most want to be remembered as a tap artist?
Just loving, sharing, and flexing. That's it.
Loving, sharing, and flexing.
Yeah.
There we go. There is the title of this interview. Man, Lee, I got to tell you, what a sincere pleasure it is to have this time to chat with you. You are one of those artists that I feel like I've known for so long and from such a young age.
Yeah.
And to see you have grown into this amazing artist that is doing absolutely beautiful work and stretching into so many different areas with singing and production work. I'm really happy that I have been lucky enough to know you all this time.